Good evening. Would you all please rise and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can I have a roll call, please?
Mr. Barnes?
Here.
Mr. Cook?
Here.
Mr. McCarthy?
Here.
Mr. D'Andriano?
Here.
Mr. Griffin?
Present. The first item on our agenda for this evening is employee recognition. And being in my last term of office here and counting down the days till I can do what Buzzy did. Can you hear me now? It's with honor and pleasure. I hope it's an honor and a pleasure for you, Buzzy, to recognize you for all your years of service to the town and give you a very, very small, modest token of our appreciation. So I don't know whether you want to come up or I can come back there. It's up to you. So on behalf of the town of Patterson, we would like to present you with a little small plaque. It's Howard Bizzuto in grateful appreciation of 31 years dedicated service to the town of Patterson. And congratulations for making it out the other side.
And Buzzy, I would just like to, on behalf of myself and the legislature, present you with this certificate. And I'd like to read it because it kind of conveys everything that I'm feeling personally. Howard Buzzy Bizzuto, the Vice Chairman of the Zoning Board of Appeals, and for many years the Chairman of the town of Patterson, has served his town with integrity and dedication since 1983. The 31-year membership to this board is certainly an unprecedented accomplishment. The commitment to this position is greatly appreciated, and the vacancy left by his retirement will be a difficult one to fill. Aside from his long-standing position in the zoning board, Buzzy is a person who is a friend to all and is truly respected and loved by his community. On behalf of the Putnam County Legislature, I thank him for his time, knowledge, and endearing personality he has shared with the town of Patterson. The Zoning Board of Appeals has surely some big shoes to fill, and I wish him all the health and happiness in his retirement. Buzzy is a gem of all gems. Not only is he a true professional and a true public servant that has served this town well, I marvel at his integrity and his calmness and his steadfast dedication, not only to the town, but his family, his children, and his grandchildren. He has been there for everyone. He is so reliable and has always been engaged with the community, and we are certainly going to miss that you're serving. And
you are all my children here.
We are, Buzzy. We are. Thank you for everything, and we all love you dearly. You're a great friend on top of a great public servant, and thank you for your service.
It's been a pleasure serving on the board. The only thing I missed that I didn't get would be the opening of the passing crossing. Everything else was accomplished while I was in there, and there was a lot of stuff that Mike accomplished here that I was in on it, so thank you, Mike.
Buzzy, it's been an honor to have worked with you all these years, and I can't say enough good things about having someone that's put in the time and the effort for so little compensation and done so much work for the town. And this is kind of the Churchill thing, so many owe so much to so few. Well, you're one of the few that have put in so much time and served with so much integrity that you've set an example for the rest of us, and I appreciate that. It's funny, Richie and I go back to, we're going to be the longest standing guys at this point now that you're out. But, I think about all the people that were here when we started, and Willie Perugini and Larry Lawler and all of those guys, and it's amazing that the things, the integrity we learned from you guys, and we've tried to emulate and move forward with. So I wish you all the best, and I can't thank you enough for all the things we learned from
I
you.
always thought that the zoning board was the farm team for the town board, because everyone we had on the zoning board graduated to something higher. Look at Ginny there. She can't go much higher, but she goes. And Ed and all that, yeah. So it was an experience for me.
It was great working with you on the zoning board. And just tell everyone how old you are, Buzzy, so we could all marvel at the fact that you are engaged in life and that you have participated in your community. And
39.
Come on, this
No.
is just, well, knock
Well,
your
I'll be
socks off.
89 in December.
Yeah.
89 in December.
And he's still out there fixing the voting machines and
Well,
going
no.
on site walks and
Yeah.
doing everything that
Well, I don't know. That's another,
those of us who are 39 do, you know?
That's another reason I'm giving up the zoning board, because I don't know what Rich is gonna do when we start having these tree houses up there, how he's gonna serve on the variances for that. Because I don't like those kind of sidewalks going up.
I don't blame you.
Well, congratulations. It's been an honor.
The whole town board. Nice to serve you. When I was first on the board, Pete, what goes on the board? Tony Edwards.
Oh, yeah, no, just, I mean, when you start thinking about going back to all those years, I mean, it's amazing how far we've come, and all the years, and all the water over the dam, so to speak.
And I think my first big case was the garbage disposal district up on Fair Street. Thank you very much.
I hope we all serve as long and with such distinction, so. And I'd be very happy to be in that shape at 69, so. Moving on with the evening's agenda, I'd ask the clerk to file the reports as read. Can I get a motion on the minutes, please?
I make a motion to approve public hearing fire department contracts dated May 14th, 2014, and town board meeting minutes dated May 14th, 2014. So moved.
A second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Order to the bills, please.
Make a motion that the town board approve abstract number 10 dated May 28th, 2014, in the amount of $544,075.16. So moved.
Second?
Have a roll call, please.
Mr. Burns?
Yes.
Mr. Cook?
Yes.
Mr. McCarthy?
Yes.
Mr. D'Angiano?
Yes.
Mr. Griffin?
Yes. Okay, Charles, I believe you're up to bat.
Kick it off.
Make it a
First item on the agenda tonight is the adoption of the Putnam Lake Fire Department contract. Last meeting, we approved the contract with the Patterson Fire Department. So tonight, I will make a motion that we approve the resolution before us as read with regard to renewal of the agreement with the Putnam Lake Fire Department. So moved.
Second?
A roll call on that too, please.
Mr. Burns?
Yes.
Mr. Cook?
Yes.
Mr. McCarthy?
Yes.
Mr. D'Angiano?
Yes.
Mr. Griffin?
Yes. And the balance on, owed to them on that contract would be $195,450. So I'm going to ask you gentlemen to sign the voucher.
I look forward to seeing some reports.
Yeah, and an audit.
Next up is the notification. A letter was sent to the Dorset Hollow Water District that starting Wednesday, June 18th, 2014, there will be a flushing of the water system. The hours being from 9 to 3 p.m. Flushing operations may continue into the next day during the same time period as well. So for the good people at Dorset Hollow, you should have received this note from the town. But this is just a reminder that there'll be a flushing of the water supply system June 18th and possibly the 19th. Next is a memo from our town comptroller requesting approval for a cost of $645 to add fax capability to the new copier down in the reception area. Unfortunately, the machine that came in did not have that capability. So I will make a motion that the town board approve the expense of $645 to add a fax capability to the copier on the first floor from Canon Solutions of America. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Good.
First on my agenda is actually about the decommissioning the wells at the Veterans Park, and I do not, Mike, do you have any information on these wells, why they have to be decommissioned?
Well, they're not in service, and generally the standard concern is that the one by the windmill it's a pretty big cover, so I think the concern is that since they're no longer in use, they should be properly abandoned, which usually means grounding them, and that way little animals and small children wouldn't happen to fall into them or something tragic. So I think it's behooves us to go out and make sure that they are properly sealed off, so that there are no possibility of somebody stepping in it, breaking a leg or something else happening. So I think we have to identify the wells and then get some prices to see what it's going to cost us to close them. But
I believe we have 3 out there, right? We have one on each.
well, I think there's 2 that are out of service, and then the third one is the active well. So I think it's a good move to get them dealt with before something could happen. As the older wells, the 2 that are out of service, aren't like the standard casing well you see today that sticks up out of the ground, it's got a cap on it and what. These are a little bit older style.
Right, they have storage tanks and stuff.
Yeah, there's a little more involved, so, the request from Carrie for us to take an action on this, I think is, it would be well for us to, from a safety standpoint, to make sure we can deal with them. So, I will, work with Carrie and, probably Brian to, get some, quotes from some of the well guys in the area, and maybe some local contractors to see what's involved with getting those things because they also have to, there's notification process with the Department of Health, so.
Our next item on my agenda is just a corrected salary. Chris Ravio and Sam Callahan, they were getting paid $10.46, and they wanted to go, the budget is actually $10.71, and they would like, Carrie would like them to be retroactive. So I make a motion to approve the new pay scale of $10.71 from $10.46 to Chris Ravo and Sam Callahan. So moved.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
A couple of announcements is Community Day celebration. Will be held Saturday, September 6th from 12 to 5 at the Patterson Rec Center. That was actually a lot of fun. I used to do it at the park, but he does a great show down there at the rec center, and he's got events going in and out. So Saturday, September 6th from 12 to 5 at the Patterson Rec Center. Patterson Rec Center again is a summer camp deadline for all our summer camps. The deadline is June 17th, so try to avoid a late fee and register by June 17th. And that's for all summer camps at the Patterson Rec. Another upcoming event is, well, that's the Patterson Community Event, I'm sorry. The next thing is the library is going to have a fun-filled block party. They're going to kick off the summer with face painting, hopscotch, games and more, live hula hoop demo and instruction, and listen and dance to summer hits, delicious food and treats, and that is Friday, June 27th from 12 to 3. And the rain date is going to be Monday, June 30th. And the generator has been installed, and now we're not going to need it. It's been installed. So live hula hoop dancing demo, and I think Mike can do that.
I think Ed was going to be doing the hula hoop demo and the hopscotch thing, so.
The hula.
I think that's worth a trip just for that.
Another announcement is NYSEG is going to inspect thousands of transmission poles. They're going to be doing this in July, and what they're going to do is basically they're going to go up and check out the poles and do any kind of minor repairs. You might have actually some interruptions in electricity, so just give you a heads up that NYSEG is to inspect thousands of transmission poles.
I've just been informed that Carrie got these quotes, actually got these back, so it looks like Beal is the low price for $37 million, so if you want to actually make a motion on it.
All right, the price to remove the existing equipment and abandon the 2 wells at the Patterson Town Park, which, okay, it's actually cut the casing off below grade and cover with soil, and then cut the hole in the steel tank and fill with sand, which is common, and break up the concrete top and fill pump house with sand and top off with topsoil. So I make a motion to approve PF Beals and Son to decommission 2 wells at Veterans Park in the amount not to exceed $3,791. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? I'm glad you caught that.
Beautiful. And Michael, you're up.
Was it me already? Wow.
Ellie wants to get this going right
Environmental park signage, we've had a little bit of discussion between our environmental park caretaker and our codes compliance officer. The codes compliance officer feels that we need a bigger sign and a little more signage at the environmental park, because a lot of people have been using the park that are not town residents, and it is restricted to town residents or to get permits. And 2 parts to this. One, the board needs to actually make a decision. Do we post a much larger sign out there? Because the sign about this big right now, and it's kind of off to the side of the kiosk. And it's kind of easy to blow by it if you're just driving in and you're not going to stop and look at the kiosk. So the suggestion was made by the Codes Enforcement Department to get a bigger sign so that you couldn't possibly miss it. And the other suggestion, I had a brief conversation regarding, there was a question raised about, well, you know, get a permit, it's a pill, you know, the town hall's only open limited amount of hours and what. And Matt Chabarro has suggested that perhaps the permits be issued out of the rec center, since A, it's in proximity to the entry to the park, and B, they're open usually from 9 to 9 and weekends, so that it would be much more practical if somebody wanted to get a permit, that they could get that at the rec center. It's close, it's right there. They do operate considerably more hours than we do, and
How entailed is the permit process? How detailed? You know, it's just a 1-page form?
yeah, it's not a lot, and then there's a small fee, but we've got, you know, businesses running canoe and kayak trips
Right.
through there and everything else, and you know, we don't know. It's good to find and make sure that if they're going to use our access point, to make sure that they have insurance and they're, you know, properly set up in the business. And you know, conversations I had with Don, and he's always telling me, make sure you know what, you know, who's in there and what they're doing, and if they're running a business out of there, absolutely have to make sure they have insurance. But large groups have been using it, and you know, we had hunters in there from out of state and everything else last fall. So I think that Matt's suggestion, and I'll you know, try and work out some of the details with him if that's a direction you guys want to go, and I'll have to take it up with Antoinette, because it's technically her function to issue the permits. So, but I thought that was a great suggestion. The only downside to his suggestion was he wanted to keep the money for the rec centers. But maybe we can split the fees or something. But it is, I thought it was a great suggestion, and I'm more than happy to pursue it if that's the direction the board thinks is good to go.
Sounds like a great idea.
And
Certainly worth
do
a
we
try.
want to consider some larger signage out there?
Yes.
I think to be fair, we should do that just to give people the heads up.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so then I will, I'll speak to Bud in the morning, or Sue will speak to Bud in the morning. Well, no, we'll speak to Bud next week, because he doesn't work Thursdays and Fridays. So we'll make sure we get that going then. Yes, sir.
Just one little point. I don't think anybody cares whether Matt keeps the money at this point,
Okay.
because at this point, the town board has not set any fee for going in there.
Really? I guess we should get some suggestions on that. What would a canoe trip be in through the swampy Wortio? I'd pay to get out of having to do that.
I thought we
What, would
had,
it be a tag or something like that? Then you'd have to carry it, or?
I guess you just had to get a permit. The only thing is, it gets a little complicated because now who's gonna go check? The fact of the matter is the town park is just the starting point, and then they go out and very quickly you're out of the town-owned piece of it. You know, the people that are hunting, they're hunting on, some of it's private property, some of it's state property, some of it is Frog's property, so it's gonna take a little thought process to it. You know.
So is it a permit to park? Is it a permit to use the?
is it
the
single
park?
use?
Hmm?
Is it single use?
What do you mean?
In other words, is it like per trip, or like are you giving a permit to an outfitter to run numerous
Well,
trips?
I think it's probably something that, you know, we should circulate some internal suggestions on.
Okay.
And I'm sure Richie probably has a few ideas, and you talk to Antoinette and maybe get some input from the town attorneys, and we'll go from there. But, you know, up till now, it's sort of was a well-kept secret, but apparently, when the
Secret's out.
hunters were asked about it, they said, oh, it's on the internet, anybody can come here, it's open to the public. And it's not exactly open to,
the public?
it's open to the public, meaning that the residents of the town, so.
And I'm back, real quick. Parking permits, parking permit displayed in the windshield, so anybody goes down, they can check the cars.
That's.
Because that's
where-
really the impact to the park, is all the vehicles going down there.
But is it single, is the idea was single use, in other words? So like if you're going this Saturday, you get a permit for Saturday and that's it?
Yeah.
It's not the
It's
summer.
not for like a season.
Access or something, okay, or season access. Okay.
Okay. Court clerk, someone else got it. All right, sanitation request, temporary laborers. We've had a request from Frank Farrell due to the fact that we're now running with less employees, that they be allowed to hire temporary workers when there's vacations or illnesses. So at this time, do we have some names of people he wants to hire, or? Yes. Is it a list here? Oh, okay. Yeah, that's all right. I got it. See, I didn't move my stuff along fast enough. Email, we have an email from Frank Farrell requesting that the town approve Stephen Keck and Stephen Hernandez as subs before June 5th. Well, I don't think that's gonna happen, but the paperwork's all straight, sir? Okay, so this time I'll make a motion, we approve Stephen Keck and Stephen Hernandez at the hourly rate for the subs. What's it, 23 something?
26.
26, whatever the laborer rate is for union. All right, well, I'll approve, make a motion, we approve these two individuals and authorize Frank Farrell to hire them as needed, so move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, medical benefits, waiting period. Since our current policy is no longer in compliance because of Obamacare, Sue's in the process of working with our HR consultant to revise the policy. Current waiting period right now is 90 days, that's no longer legal, it's 60 days. So while we revise the policy, and as many of you know, we'll be transferring Bob from the town board to the building department
This is medical benefits again.
in July, just not July 1st, it's July 7th. And because the way the medical insurance works, it's the first of the month. So rather than make Bob wait till October 1st, I am suggesting that we do a one-time waiver, and while the policy is under review and being corrected, that we do a waiver and authorize the town controller to put Bob on the insurance as of September 1st. So I make a motion to approve a one-time waiver for Bob McCarthy for medical insurance for the town, starting as of September 1st. So moved.
A second and a discussion point. But Bob's already an employee, so do we have to waive it at all?
I'm gonna defer that question to the personnel director because
I mean, right, he's an employee.
he's not a full-time employee, he's an elected official. And elected officials aren't eligible for medical insurance, so until he becomes
employee.
an official who is eligible, that's when the waiting period kicks in. So, but under the current policy, because he wasn't an employee, the 60 days would be closer to more than 90, so at this point, I just think, because 60 is now the new standard across the country, and our policy is in flux, I think it's reasonable to say, okay, rather than, punitive, punish the guy for 7 days, I think we should just say since September 1st, and that's close to compliance as far as I can tell. But that's my motion. It's been seconded. Anybody want to vote on it?
Sure. Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
I'll abstain. Thank you,
Charlie. Release of escrow accounts, discussion. It's come up this week that in the past, the town controllers requested that this be a formal action of the town board. I've had a conversation with the town planner and town attorney. All the money in escrow accounts is handled through trust and agency, and the trust and agency account is generally the supervisors to manage. What I'm suggesting or recommending is to expedite the process for smaller groups. Once you go through the planning process and you're completed, any monies that are left over that haven't been paid to the town for engineering fees or review fees are returned to the applicant. Sometimes for some of the smaller applicants, it could be a considerable amount of money. So in the past, it's scheduled, comes in front of the town board, then it goes to, and then it's processed, and it's eventually paid. The suggestion from the town planner, and I guess you're in accord with it, Don, is that we just do this on a voucher basis, and that as soon as you guys sign a voucher, that's considered an approval, and then can get into the process and out to the individual, get his money back in a much quicker fashion.
The only thing to add is that, and I discussed with Rich today also, is that as a check and balance, that Rich confirmed to the board via an email or a short memo that all consultants' vouchers have been and bills have been submitted. So it's a check before you vote as part of your approval of your voucher list.
That's fine.
Good. All right, I'd like to make a motion to add one item to to my agenda. It's a Justice Clerk memo, Justice Court memo about the clerk's summer hours. All in favor? Okay. Everybody all right with that?
Yep.
We have a memo from Judge Molay. He's requesting, as you're aware, summer hours begin July 1st for town employees. As we've done in years past, the court clerks don't feel that it really works well for them to go home an hour early, so they would like to take Friday, work 9 to 11 on Fridays, and then they would take the rest of the day off, which would be the same equivalent as the hours that all the other town employees get. So with that, if there's no objection, I'm going to make a motion that we approve the Justice Court request for summer hours for the court clerks. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Well, I can go home now. Kevin?
All right, first item on my agenda is Putnam Lake Advisory Board requests. I'm happy to announce that the Putnam Lake Advisory Board is welcoming 2 new members, Laura Russo and Rich Filippelli, after the interview process. There are 2 terms to appoint to. One is a 6-year term and one is a 7-year term. Any preference as to who gets what? So then I'll just do them sequentially. I'll make a motion to appoint Laura Russo to the expiring 6-year term that would expire in 2019, and make a motion to appoint Rich Filippelli to the 7-year term which expires in 2020. So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
Congratulations to Laura and Rich. Next item on my agenda are non-bid procurement requests from Putnam Lake Advisory Board. The first is for an 8x8 value shed. 3 bids were obtained from Home Depot, Martin Country Craftsman, and Lowe's. Lowest price was from Home Depot, so I'll make a motion to approve the purchase of a 8x8 value shed with tough floor option for a sum not to exceed $1,338. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
The only thing are you putting sheds in each different beaches or something like that, or?
No, this shed's for the ball field.
Oh, okay, to the ball field. And we have another shed, we have one or two other sheds.
We have 2 new sheds at the beaches.
Yep, and this is for the ball field. Okay, thank you.
Second non-bid procurement request is the purchase of 44 tons of concrete sand. I don't know, I know we have a winning bid. I'm not sure what happened as far as the bid request. They're not listed on here. It says see attachments, but I didn't get the attachments. But I'm assuming that was the lowest of three bids. So I'll make a motion. The lowest bid was from AGG Concrete Sand Delivery. So I'll make a motion to approve the purchase of that sand for a sum not to exceed $1,995.32. So moved.
Second?
Okay, just a
Delivery too.
quick question here. Just want to take a second. It's, concrete sand, is that for the beaches?
Yes.
Concrete sand?
Well, it's the same sand that we used last year for Jackson Beach and Warren Beach. It's limestone sand.
Oh,
I
okay.
think it's the color, they call it that when they thought it makes the color of the grout.
Yeah, I just, because having worked in the construction business for a few years, concrete sand and cow bay are way different things.
It's the sand that we used at the beach last year for Jackson
okay.
Beach. It's a sand that's milled out of Connecticut. It's white sand. It's fine enough, and it's cheaper, much cheaper. And it's the same sand that they use at Candlewood and Swans Pond State Parks.
Okay. I just did, because it's usually a pretty coarse sand. Now, Hank, don't run away yet. We had talked a little bit about moving forward with Allied on the Aldersyde funds. Do you guys have a request in for that? Pat, I apologize because I thought that was in the works. Are we ready to?
Yeah, we had a request. We were just getting confirmation that we want to proceed with Allied Biological.
Right. No,
with the Aldersyde.
that was always our intent. When we discussed this up here, the only thing I think that was open, and Rich, I check your memory banks, everybody else, but I thought there was the only decision that was kind of made is whether we're going to do, a certain size or half the lake or exactly how much we were planning on doing. So at that point, we agreed to move the process forward to get the permits, and then we were going to revisit this. And it seems like it's time to revisit it.
It's going to, yes, soon.
Do you guys have a recommendation? You're going to do half the lake, and is it going to be the Aldersyde and the herbicide?
No, just the
Just the
Aldersyde.
Aldersyde?
Half the lake with the Aldersyde.
Okay.
Yeah, what's happening is with the herbicides, we're going to get the permit approved, but we don't know if we use it. It might be too late. So if we can use it, we might. But, by the time the process happens, we might be too late for the herbicides. But if it all happens in time, we might try to use the herbicides.
All right, and that's based on the Allied controls, pollution controls.
The Allied Biological, yeah, they have to
Allied Biological.
they still have to come in the lake, and they got to make sure everything's, just right to do it. If it's too late, we're not going to do the algicide either.
Well, you need us to take action on that tonight, though, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
We just wanted to make sure that we're all on the same page, that Allied Biological will be doing the algicides.
I don't think there was ever any doubt that they had the winning bid. And the question, as I recall, what we weren't decided on the extent of what they were going to do, and then we were going to revisit that later. But we accepted their bid, and we authorized them to go ahead with the permitting process. So, Kevin, do you want to
We're just going to make a motion to expend the funds?
to approve Allied Biological for the algicide and herbicide treatments as per specifications of the park board.
So moved.
All in favor? Is that back covered?
I don't know if
Sounds good.
I don't know if I can repeat all that. Okay. Anything else as far as Putnam Lake Advisory Board requests that we have to? I think that was everything, right? Okay. Next item is just a quick update on master plan. I talked to Rich, and there's two things that we're doing. We're going to actually, the supervisor is going to send a letter in support of Pace's Land Use Center. They're, I guess, are they lead? It's not really lead agency. What is their? How would you?
There's a LEED program, LEED, for neighborhood development.
Okay.
And it is design standards and how you review development within an existing community.
So it's like a model
And-
for using, to
Exactly.
use to review your comprehensive plan.
Right, and
Okay.
it's actually, LEED is a certification program, and what they've done is they prepared a manual outlining how to incorporate the manual within your local zoning and your master plan. And they are looking to now put that out to the communities and provide training to the communities. That is what they're seeking the grant for.
Okay, so we're just putting in a letter in support of that grant application.
Correct.
That's one part. And then the other part of it is we are going to put in, it's the universal funding site?
Well,
Put
no,
the
we're
grant-
going to put in a grant application for the Clean Green Communities Phase 2 program.
Okay. Shall I read that?
Which is,
I'll read the grant request. We're going to put in for this grant to see if we can get some funding towards, for the master plan. It's basically, the grant application is to revise the town's comprehensive plan to incorporate the regional sustainable growth strategies contained in the Mid-Hudson Regional Sustainability Plan of May of 2013. We're requesting $65,000, of which we would have to fund 25%. The grant would fund 75%. It basically is stating that we're intending to retain a qualified expert to review and propose changes to the comprehensive plan as it relates to the objectives and initiative for the implementation of the Mid-Hudson Regional Sustainability Plan. The consultant will also evaluate and incorporate techniques involved in the technical guidance manual for sustainable neighborhoods, and I sound like a Bugs Bunny, sustainable neighborhoods and towns comprehensive plan. So it's basically we're putting in to try to get some funding to help us retain a consultant to revise the plan in some fashion, not a total revision, so.
basically, I'll take a copy of that with me.
I'll give you a copy, so those are the two updates. Next item on my agenda are just budget transfers. Budget transfer 18 is between contingency account and rec center for $1,500. Budget transfer request 19 should say 2014 budget request, and also it should be reducing allocated fund balance and transferring to sanitation equipment outlay for a sum of $75,821. Budget transfer request number 20 is from allocated fund, again, that's 2014 budget transfer request, and it should be reducing allocated fund balance to sanitation contractual. A point on this, apparently, Trish, there's been some repairs that have been required on the sanitation vehicles now that we're keeping them up very well. And we're over what we had allocated for repairs, and so she sat down with Frank Farrell, and 10,000 is basically a projected estimate for the balance of the year. Right now, we're only at we'd only require an additional 2,000 of funding, but she's suggesting an appropriation of 10 to cover the balance of the year if the board is agreeable. I certainly think, in light of our past experience with maintaining the vehicles, we'd want to put the full 10,000 in it. So, any discussion on that, or no? So,
I have a discussion on, back to the,
well, why don't I move them and then second we'll have
Okay.
discussion. So I'll make a motion to approve 18, 19, and 20. One second.
second.
And discussion.
I just want to ask, on this one relative to the truck, don't we have a capital project line that this money can come out of?
We didn't have a capital fund. That money had been, actually been kept in fund balance, so that's why it was being moved from where it was to where it is. So, but we can establish, if you want, we can establish a capital vehicle replacement fund.
I'm just asking because,
We had, we did it with the highway department, we just haven't done it with sanitation.
well, will we do that the next budget cycle?
Yeah.
Okay, because, I mean, this is depleting the fund balance, right? I mean,
Yeah, that had actually been anticipated and was part of, how we set the budget up, but, the other for the repairs was a little unexpected, but, so,
You want to vote?
are you gonna call for it or what?
We make a vote? I call for a vote.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Supervisor in training.
Look at that.
You done?
I'm done.
Okay, Pete?
All right, the first item on my agenda are recreation requests. First request is for adult basketball T-shirts from Steve Danucci, not to exceed $525. Make a motion for that?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Second request, I have a memo from Matt Trabaro. I am requesting to hire Danielle Ederer as a cheerleading coach at the rate of $9 per hour. She has cheering experience and comes highly recommended. Danielle would replace one of the coaches from last season who could not commit to our summer camp program. So I make a motion to authorize Matt to hire Danielle Ederer at the rate of $9 per hour. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Yay, cheerleading, yay.
That's what I'm saying, a little enthusiasm, come on.
Our next item is another item, request from Matt Trabaro for the Send in the Clowns entertainment, not to exceed $5,200. Make a motion to approve that, so moved.
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
This is for Community Day.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
September 6th, rain or shine, right, Sue?
Yes, sir.
September 6th, rec center, rain or shine, send in the clowns. Well, I always think they're talking about politicians when they do that. I don't know. But anyway. Well, if there's a dunk tank, you're all invited.
Okay, another part of that memo from Matt Trabaro also was, since registrations for summer camps have not closed, I would like approval to hire additional counselors if needed to run our camp safely and effectively. All paperwork will be submitted to Sue Brown prior to start of employment.
Oh, lucky you.
So I guess he feels if we have more enrollment that they're going to need more staff. So I'd like to make a motion to give him the authority to hire if needed. So move.
Second?
Better. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, well, Sue, I hope they were all previous hires for your sake. We just spent, Sue just spent the last, 2 months with the lifeguards? It was almost an all-consuming, never-ending process. And naturally, everybody lost their driver's license, or they'd lost their working papers, they'd lost something, but it's gotten a little insane, the amount of paperwork you need. And most of us, when we were kids, if they like you, they said, okay, start tomorrow, kid. Now, not so much. What else you got, Pete?
Okay, the next item on my agenda is the Royal Karting Contract Renewal Resolution. So I have a resolution here. A resolution approving renewal of agreement with Royal Karting Services for hauling of single-stream recycling. Whereas Royal Karting currently provides hauling services to the town of Patterson by providing dumpsters to the town for its single-stream recycling program, then delivering same to a recycling processing facility located in Beacon. The town board of the town of Patterson is satisfied with the services provided by Royal Karting and desires to renew its current agreement with Royal Karting. Also, now therefore be it resolved that the town board of the town of Patterson hereby authorizes the town to renew its agreement with Royal Karting for hauling services relating to its single-stream recycling program on the terms set forth in the proposed agreement annexed here too. I'd like to make a motion to accept this resolution. So move.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Come on.
This
Hang in, guys.
agreement goes to the end of the year, and then we have to do it again.
Well, yeah, the thing that's good about this, though, is Royal Karting got the OGS, got the state contract for doing this, so as long as they're approved by the state, it's sort of a no-brainer for us. So, that's good. Is that it? Pete,
That's it for
Don?
me.
You got any other business?
No other business.
Robert?
I do.
You do?
Mike Ercole, I'm sure Hank, you are aware of this, the use of the ball field, but the possibility of actually outdoor organizations possibly using it, maybe Patterson Little League is one that is concerned. Just want to see exactly what kind of procedure, obviously insurance and stuff like that, or if there's a fee. Because I know what we do over in the Veterans Park, they actually do rent it out for like the season with the Little League. It's like $100 they charge for, I think, for the season, so. And it consists of 2 seasons for the ball season, so I'm not sure exactly what, fee that you guys want to run, or,
I think it was, correct me if I'm wrong, it was for like an emergency, if a Little League needed to use the field for practice because the other fields were full, could they go over and use it? Is that correct?
How Mike brought it up was, if you got no jam and there was no field available, that you would ask to use our field, and I think as a board, we were gonna waive it. It's not, you're not scheduled, just once in a while, you're gonna need it, and we were just gonna waive it for now.
What happens if there's actually a long-term?
If you had a scheduled thing, then maybe we'd think about a fee, maybe something like that, something similar to everybody else in town.
Okay.
But,
Obviously,
you know, right now, if it's an emergency, and no one's using it really, so. we just
Then
waive it.
nobody really uses it during the week, or?
No, the only time it's being used is Sundays, and then the softball league, they practice every once in a while, so we would have to make sure that we schedule with them, that, you know, you guys have no conflict.
Who's the scheduling coordinator?
Between me and Mike, but
Okay.
nobody's really been asking to use the field. We had a couple of people last year, a softball league was asking to use it, but the same thing, only in case of an emergency.
Because, I mean, I see a need for it only because, I mean, lacrosse is taking up a lot of, you know, it's actually, field use is actually
Yes.
dwindling.
Yeah,
That's
we
part of the
talked
problem.
about it at our last meeting, and, you know, at this stage, just temporarily, every once in a while, we were just gonna waive it. And, if you decide to use it for like a season or something like that, we'll talk about it then.
All right.
I think we were just looking into the legal ramifications of what it would, if it
Yeah.
was okay, if that would be possible, so.
Well, that was the other thing,
Yeah,
we were gonna ask the town is, you know.
Yeah, well, they're vetted through the other side of town, so they have all the necessary insurance and,
Yeah.
and all of that, so there wouldn't be any issue in terms of liability, et cetera. They are fully insured.
And that was the only issue we had
Yeah.
with that. And we were gonna look into that, but you took care of that.
Okay.
So
All right.
that's all good.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Is that it?
Pat?
Sorry, Pat Ploger. Just to clarify, if there's an injury or something happens to a Little League, or God forbid, on the field, their insurance covers it,
They have primacy, yes.
they have primacy. Okay, thank you.
Kevin?
Nada.
Charlie?
One more thing.
Okay, okay,
Saturday, Relay for Life, at the firehouse, unless you were actually gonna say something about that.
No, actually, I'm probably gonna be not getting back to town in time for that, so.
It goes until midnight.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll be back before midnight. Ginny, is there anything you'd like to alert us to that the county's been up to? Anything we wanna know about? Anything we should be nervous about?
No. I just wanted to give you some brief highlights. I know that you've been working alongside Vinnie Tamagna with
Excuse me,
Can you hear me?
we're gonna need your name for the
Oh,
record.
Ginny Nestorino, county legislator, former town board member and zoning board
Former
member.
zoning board member, former
Do you know me?
secretary to the supervisors.
Former drum
So
major.
we're working, Vinnie Tamani is working with the interns this year. We renewed our pilot program, which the college students from the area work in various departments within the county, which proved very successful last year. It's twofold. It gives the youth the experience of working in the county, and it's also an investment in our future for our children to feel a part of our community and hopefully want to stay and grow within our community. That being said, Vinny has some of his interns testing the buses. They have 3 alternative routes that they have zeroed in and are now zeroing in on and going to implement one of those routes in each town. I spoke to Rich. I asked him for a picture from the chamber. The chamber is doing alongside the buses a collage of all the communities, so that'll be very appealing to have our buses reflect our community with all the pictures of
Does
the
one of
various
those bus routes go
towns.
by Ed's house?
Bus is gonna go by, I told Vinny, Putnam Lake is very important, that's the main thing. So I emphasize that over and over again, so he's very aware of that.
Good.
So that being said, one of the interns, Vinny asked me to convey to you that one of the interns will be contacting you, Mike, to make an appointment to come to the town to speak of the results of the routes and what they plan to do and get your feedback. So that's the one thing. The other thing is I wanted to mention that the Office of the Aging has been now named to the Office of Senior Resources, not to connote any aging, more that the new 60 is really the new 40, so it gives us more of an incentive for people to feel that they're not going to the Office of the Aging, they're very engaged in life. There's many activities going on there. They have a grand old time. Every time I go to those events, they're They're doing a lot of different things, plus doing a lot of things within the community as well. I know that you probably have read a lot about the Tilly Foster Farm. We are working to get the Tilly Foster Farm up and running since George Whipple has decided not to continue with that. It's a county-owned asset. We want to maximize our resources. We have recently passed 3 resolutions in support of use of the QUIP funds for the dam there, the water system, and the sewer treatment plant. The infrastructure is not good, and in order to build on it, we're going to have to take care of those. So we made application to that. We've been working on grants as well. We have one that we just recently approved to apply for is the Trap, Neuter, and Release Grant for $2,500, which is something that the town board has always supported on a local level. Also, in the Homeland Security, 100% grant for $250,000 for emergency services as well. And I don't know if you read in the local papers, but the Kent Sidewalk Revitalization grant as well. That is a $2 million grant. It's 80% reimbursable, and New York State will pick up the other 15, leaving only 5% for the taxpayers. Along with, just as coming up with the season, the Tilly Foster Farm, we're going to host a carnival on the site July 4th. And across the street, the town of Southeast on Independence Way is going to have their 2nd annual fireworks display. So I encourage everyone to come. It's finally something to do in Putnam County, so come out and support your community. And that's about it for now. Oh yes, we also have applied for a request for proposals for the Cornwall Hill Road parcels for the solar energy as well. So that's what's happening for now. So I'll keep you posted.
So are we gonna get a golf course on this side of the county at Tilly Foster?
No, but you gotta come to the golf course. Also Friday nights at the golf course. It's, you know, a buffet, all you can eat, $15, a DJ. It's a great thing. I know, I feel like I live at that golf course now, because my car's always in that direction.
I hope you got a bus
route
route from Patterson to there. It's getting a little, it's a long
The
drive.
Sacred Heart Golf Outing is having their dinner there as well.
I was just gonna mention that.
Okay. So it's well utilized by all the residents of Putnam County. It is located in Mayapack, but it's a great facility. It's great for any family event that you have, any party, any community event that you want to use it for to sponsor. It's really fantastic. So I urge you to come and take a look, support it, or join the Friday night barbecue, okay?
Thank you.
Nice to see everyone.
I have a feeling I'm gonna get a very good look at it, all of it on Monday when we
That's right.
go to the Sacred Heart Golf Outing. But Ed, is there anything you'd like to update us about the BAR, or is there something else you'd rather talk about?
Oh, I was just gonna mention, I didn't know that Virginia was gonna be gracious enough to talk about the golf thing. I'm sure you all join me in wishing good weather for, Ed O'Connor, by the way, wishing good weather on Monday for the Sacred Heart Golf Tournament, and a great game played by our town supervisor. May he break par for once. And hey, it'll happen. And we have a journal with, I know, right now we have a page that's always for the town board individually. Right now, it's just going to say Kevin Burns, and I would hope that the other members would like to have their name put in with Kevin's name.
It's a rare day that I actually had $20 on me today.
Well,
so
so if anyone wants their name under Kevin Burns' name, see me with either $20 or promise for the future.
Okay.
I'll spring for it if I have to.
All right, well, I talked to Meg, and she's gonna, I promised her I'd pay her on Monday.
Okay.
So I think we're covered.
She trusts you.
I don't know why, but
I don't know.
that's nice.
It beats me.
you know what's going to happen? You guys are going to get on there, and then Meg's going to go, I never got the $20.
But the other 3 gentlemen, if you'll pardon the expression, could just let me know that you would like your name on the thing.
Yes.
I'm in.
Okay. Well, there being no other business, then I think we'll move on to our favorite part of the evening. Public recognition. Is there any member of the public that would like to be recognized? Seeing no member of the public.
I make a motion to.
Hi, Bruce.
Hi, did you enjoy your vacation? Just a couple of things. Bruce Major, Somerset Drive. just over 2 weeks ago, I emailed all of you a concern in reference to something that dates back to 1978, when the town board looked for guidance from the Attorney General relative to how monies, capital funds were going to be spent, and I'd like to know what you plan to do relative to that memo.
I have requested that the town attorney seek a new opinion, or a concurring opinion from the state controller's office, and then from there on, I'll let Don fill you in.
Bruce, we took a look at the kind of voluminous files that were there, including the papers that you sent. We think getting an updated current opinion from the Department of Audit and Control would be appropriate. Those are Attorney General's opinions, and we really should have Audit and Control chime in on this.
Oh,
So
that was my point. I
yeah,
mean,
we're
you
going to
have-
be, we'll be drafting a formal request for an opinion from the department on that.
Okay, and are you going, when you send your request into them, are you going to include those documents that show that the earlier Attorney General had indicated that? I think it's important that you let them know the history.
We'll certainly
So
consider
that
it.
it doesn't look like we're shopping, you know, like cops used to shop for the right judge for a search warrant. I think that they should be made
No.
aware of all, well,
No,
that's
no,
a
agreed.
reality.
We haven't drafted it up. We
Okay.
certainly know that.
But you understand my point?
I understand your point, but I also don't want to commit to including anything in our request for it. We want to draft it. I understand the issues, and also in thinking of it, recognize that that it's a more complicated issue.
It certainly is
than-
complicated,
So
yes.
there's a lot of different aspects to it, so.
And I just think
certainly know.
it's something that needs to be corrected.
Or at least
Or
get an opinion on.
clarified. Okay. All right. The other thing, at the last town board meeting, Mike, you raised the issue of DEC report of May 14th, indicating deficits in the early report submitted by the town.
Oh, you're talking about dam reports?
Yes, I'd like to know, did the town board members get it, or if I start asking questions about it, did you get a chance to review the DEC report dated that date?
I asked Rich Williams for a copy.
Okay. Some of the concerns I have, we have a situation where an original engineering firm did the initial report, okay? Then we have Mazer doing a follow-up report, and in fact, it was Ginny Nasarino who raised some questions at the July 25th, 2012 town board meeting relative to the inspection fees being charged by Mazer for the Putnam Lake Dam. Then in August, there was a discussion about the deficiencies on the dam, and there was indications that these needed to be addressed, and that the report as written wasn't sufficient, or the information that you had wasn't sufficient to submit to the DEC, and therefore in September of 2012, you then provided a resolution approving Mazer a bid, I think $11,500, to provide the necessary documentation and the numbers required, the sequential numbers required to meet the flows. I believe Bibbo declined to bid, and Insight Engineering said for the work that you were looking for, it would cost between $25,000 and $40,000. Now, I look at the report that was submitted, and I'm sorry you didn't get a copy of it, but it appears that there were 12 areas of concern that the DEC raised. Now, I realize that unfortunately you have to live with them. You know, you're the little fish, they're the big fish. You may not like the way they do things, but you still have to live with the fact that they can tell you what to do and you don't have much of a choice. Fortunately, you're a municipality. If the PLCC owned the dam or some private entity, they would probably already have sanctions on them and fines. They don't seem to go after municipalities. But of the 12 areas that were evaluated, they found 5 to be incomplete and 2 to be missing, which is an indication that less than half of the report that was submitted passed review by DEC. The thing that really raised my concern is in their visual observation, they refer back to Mazer's physical inspection back in July of 2012. And they talk about certain things, and this one in particular, because we've had discussions about it before the board. Additionally, there were several depressions on the top of the dam and one at the toe near the tree that need to be filled, compacted, and monitored. Now, it appears that Mazer found that in July of 2012, yet 19 months later, it appears that the same deficiencies were found by DEC when they did their field inspection. Whether we like it or not, these things should get addressed. We shouldn't be waiting, if in fact what they're saying is true, that these depressions were there 19 months earlier, why 19 months later are we now seeing that the same deficiencies are there? That's my point. We have an earthen dam, and we have problems with earthen dams. One would think that these are kind of important. I know there was one that was repaired.
Yes, I was just saying, I'm not sure these are all the same depressions, and then, by the way, it has a concrete core.
I understand that, but
So
there are still some concerns.
It's not technically an earthen dam.
Right, okay.
So, But
you understand my point, Mike? In other words, we
no,
have our engineer
yes.
saying there's deficiencies, and then the DEC 19 months later saying, gee, we're finding the same deficiencies. All I'm suggesting is,
Right, but I'm not.
Where are we going?
As you are correct to state, most of those were repaired. These are, I don't know that they're all the same depressions. I know that the fire department had been over there and needed. Rich, you want to respond by all means?
You know, Bruce, I'm out on the dam once a month. I'm out there looking, I'm out there watching the depressions. Yeah, they're absolutely the same depressions.
Okay.
But if you go out there and look at the depressions, you know, there's small little dips in the dam. They're not structural anomalies that are threatening the dam, regardless of what the engineer says, regardless of what the DEC says. They go out there and they go looking for possibilities. And I've been out there on the dam, geez, I've been watching that dam since 2000, something like that, when I first got pushed out there. The depressions haven't changed. They're still there, and they're not threatening the dam. Someday, we're gonna have to make some substantial improvements to the face of the dam. We're also gonna have to deal with the height of the dam. But, you know, for now, that dam is as safe as any dam around here is gonna be. And I'll assure you of that. And maybe you're gonna sit here and come up to the mic and say, but you're not an engineer. Yeah,
No.
but you know what? Sometimes common sense has to roll out on these things as well.
I don't disagree with that. My only point is this, is that we have a state agency that is saying certain things, and that we need to respond to them. And the engineer that we have now, is he not in fact the engineer who wrote the original report?
He is.
Oh, he worked for the same firm.
He worked with the same firm, absolutely. And I've got him reviewing the documentation, and by the end of the week, I expect something back from him. I will tell you, I've also reviewed the DEC's report. I feel that they are incorrect in a number of areas. They say we didn't base our analysis on the correct rainfall event, the PMF event, and we did. We clearly did, and they have that report. They're looking for things digitally. I can tell you one of the areas of deficiencies that has been brought to my attention is the fact that we didn't do a sunny day breach, meaning that the dam, you know, when we do the analysis, we do the worst case scenario analysis. The analysis is done on a rain event that equals a total annual rain event happening in 3 days.
No, I'm aware of that.
All right? It's an astronomical rain event that we're never going to see. That's what we do the analysis on, and that's what we do the flood wave when it goes out. They find the report deficient because we didn't do it on a day when it hadn't been raining for days before, on a sunny day event. You know, if you've looked at the worst case scenario, why do you also need to do an analysis on a sunny day event?
Well, it would all depend on their original criteria that they established.
Which they changed in 2010.
No, I understand that.
Okay.
Okay. And then there's the last thing. I'd like to talk about the environmental park. over the last couple of years, we've seen more and more of our land go to nonprofits. We lost Turtle Pond. Recently on Farm to Market Road, I think it was 80 acres and an additional, I don't know if you're aware of it, Rich?
Both sides. Both sides of 164.
Both sides of 164, but we also lost property down off of Farm to Market Road. I believe it's somewhere between 80 and 120 acres that's off the tax rolls. That was sold just a few months ago. We're looking at the environmental park. It doesn't appear to be a moneymaker for us. It's within the Great Swamp. Is there any consideration of looking to deed it over to the DEC? Because if the DEC owns it, they start paying taxes on it. At least then there would be a revenue stream coming back. They have law enforcement officers who can do the law enforcement. Clearly, there are a lot of people who like to use that facility to get in there for canoeing. We could certainly have conversations with DEC to make sure that that would be permissible. But I think at this point in time, it might be wise to consider, if they'd be willing to take it over, it would put a piece of property back on the tax rolls. Liability and responsibility would be removed from the town, and it might be a plus for us. Thank you.
Anyone else?
On that last point, do we just float that out to the DEC, or is that a...
Well, I would actually like to give it a little thought and discuss, with some folks what they think the consequences are, including Rick Saracelli and some of those people that use the park on a regular basis, and see what their thoughts are. I think generally turning things over to the state means that you're giving up all rights and control of it. So I think it's something that it may be deserving of consideration, but it's certainly deserving of a lot of thought before we commit to anything. So, but I thank you for bringing it up.
Part of it is the maintenance of it too, where we lose the ability to maintain it.
Well, it's, if the state owns it, then anybody that, meets the state's criteria can go in there, hunt there and everything else. It'll be advertised significantly more on state websites than it is right now. And to me, one of the other main issues is it's an unguarded crossing that you have to go through to get there. So I think that's a liability, consideration as well. But it's certainly something to give some thought to, and I don't see any reason why we can't do that. So, anybody have anything else they want to bring up at this point in the evening, or I'm going to want to go home and watch the Rangers play tonight, or the Yankees?
Rangers win tonight.
Well, it's win or go home.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I don't even know why I showed it. Thank you all for coming.